just some of the little things that you really have to look at. Like they had a cash drawer. Well, my staff's like, how much do we put in here? Do we need coins? What is this? They're just like, ah.
Welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast, where we're highlighting real agent stories and how they are innovating to respond to the changes and challenges happening in the independent insurance industry. My name's Lindsay, and I can't wait to introduce you to my amazing co-host, who just so happens to be my mom, Carey Wallace. Mom, how you doing today?
It is going fantastic, Lindsay. How's your day going?
It's going good. Been busy, but busy is good.
Agreed. Well, I am super excited. I have a very special guest on the show with us today. She's one of my favorite people, and I get to see her when I travel to Kansas. And hopefully I'm going to get to see her even more because we have these circles that seem to collide, which I am very thankful for. So today we're going to be talking to Angela Trimble. She is the co-owner of TrustPoint Insurance Real Estate. Angela, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So honestly, for those people that don't know you, which I don't know who those people are, but let's just imagine that there are people in this industry that have not met you. How sad for them. Tell us a little bit about how you got into insurance and what your agency looks like and all of that.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I came from the medical field. So I was in the medical field for about 13 years, and I ran a multi-specialty clinic. So I was on the medical side, dealt a lot with insurance on that. And then my business partner now, Janet Payne, her and I were roommates outside of high school. And she was like, oh, you got to come back. You got to come back. And I was like, I am not coming back. Anyway, turn of events, things happened, and I actually came back. And then her and I had the opportunity to purchase the agency. And so we bought it in 2009. And it's been really good. She and I have known each other for a very, very long time. And we bought the agency. And the agency was an insurance and real estate company. And we were both realtors before. So we have an agency that has real estate included.
Oh my goodness. So hold on. Let me just get this straight. So first of all, you moved away and then you went into business with a roommate. Was it like a college roommate or just a roommate after high school that you all lived together?
Yeah. So a roommate out of high school. So we didn't know each other, complete strangers.
What?
And we moved in. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't even like each other at all. So,
wow.
We tell the story and it's pretty funny, but we didn't even like each other at all. And we just came from two different walks of life. And so we melded really well. And then we became adult friends. And I moved away because, when you're in your hometown, you're like, I'm never coming back here again. Uh-huh. And so, not everybody does that, but I'm in Kansas, so it's a little bit, we're a small town. And so I moved away, went to college, did the whole thing, did the, medical office. And she was like, oh my God, we have this position. You got to come back for it. And so I was like, no, but I did. And it went really well. And then her and I bought the agency and we bought it in 2009 and we've expanded and grew it. And so that's where we're at.
That is a fascinating story. I got to tell you, the way people come into insurance is always never what you think. First of all, there's very few people that, unless they were born into it, like there's two ways. Yeah. It's either very random or you were born into it. And that's fantastic. I had no idea, first of all, that you guys didn't like each other when you first met or were complete strangers, because you have built this incredible partnership. There's no two ways around that. So, and I get to see in my walk of life, I deal with a lot of different agency owners that are thinking about planning for the future. So sometimes when I engage with agencies, I engage sometimes when partners don't quite agree on what that future is going to be. So, good, bad, or indifferent, I sometimes get to be engaged when that partnership's not going so well. And from the outside, man, it looks like you guys have an incredible partnership. So I'd love for you to tell me what the secret is there.
Well, honesty, and we agree to fight. So we agree to disagree. And there's times where, we have to make the hard decisions. And I'll tell Janet, I'm like, yeah, you're taking this one. You're 51% owner today. I'm not doing this. And she'll do vice versa. So we'll pick and choose. But we truly, Carey, we stay in our own lanes. And I think that's what's important. And we respect each other in their lanes. So like, for example, I do the processes and how our agency works and the technology and doing that. And Janet is more of dealing with the carriers and the contracts and the commission based and, how we need to advance and what kind of markets we're looking for. And does that work with our agency producers? Where I'm like, okay, we've got to be more streamlined, more technology, more, advanced. We've got to look at this, this, and this. And so we truly stay in our own lanes. Now we bounce stuff off of each other all the time and we give our opinion, but we will always be respectful in saying, hey, that one's on you. Whatever decision you make, I'll live with it. Because at the end of the day, being the only person that makes all the decisions and everything's on you, that's pretty stressful. It's pretty taxing. And so, yesterday her and I were in a 4-hour meeting and we were kind of going at it. We listen to each other speak. We try not to speak over one another and give the respect of truly listening to the other one and never putting them down that they don't understand what it is, or, we'll say, okay, wait a minute. I don't know what you're talking about. Explain that a little bit more to me. And typically we come to the same conclusion. We come to the same, like, oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying. Well, I was looking at this way. You were looking at this way. And ultimately our goals were the same, but we were just coming from different angles.
I think that some of the best innovation comes from fighting with the people that you work with, like sitting down in a room and taking the opposite stance and saying, okay, you have this idea, but here's all the reasons it wouldn't work. What about this idea? Oh, here's all the reasons why that wouldn't work. Or here's why this other idea is better. And like getting down and like taking opposing sides. Like there's a reason we debate about things, right? And when that can be done in a respectful and like when you can communicate and say, okay, like we have this problem. Let's both come up with a separate idea and present it and make sure the other one understands, but then tear it down a little, like put it to the test, because you don't know until, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't know until it's like out in the world, and then who knows what's going to happen then,
Hey guys, if you're looking to improve your bottom line, allow your team to operate efficiently, and really improve that customer retention, I believe you should check out Ascend. Ascend is the all-in-one insurance payment solution. They are focused on streamlining your invoicing, premium financing, accounting, and they'll even make your carrier payables for you. They are taking agency bill and making it as easy as direct bill. That is a game changer. They integrate with all of the major AMS players, and here's the best part. It's free. There is no subscription, no cost to you. They allow your customers to pay how they want. If you are interested in improving your efficiency, go visit ascend.com/insurance refocused and let them know that we sent you.
Yeah. So I think that her and I understand our point is, all right, is this the best thing for the agency?
Right.
Is your idea better or is my idea better? And whichever one's really, truly better, then that's what we go with. And then sometimes we just involve staff, and sometimes they're the tiebreaker. If staff is going to do it or staff is part of it, a lot of times we'll go to them. It's only fair.
So, Angela, you said your role versus Janet's role, and there's some really clearly defined who takes the lead in certain things, right? So Has it always been that way, or is that like a renegotiated thing all the time?
It really has always been that way. It
Oh,
really has. And we've kind of have found our own um, roles too as we keep on, growing. And so it's interesting to find that. Janet, love her to pieces, but technology makes her very angry. She makes her very angry. And she can read policy to me until it's a snooze fest. I am just like, Janet. She loves it. And that's what she does. Don't get me wrong. I love insurance too, but I mean, yeah. So we clearly know, and our staff knows it. Our staff clearly knows who they go to for whatever they want. Yeah, it's
I
funny.
love that.
That's funny. So since you have a dual, like your agency is insurance agency and realty, yeah. Is that what you specialize in, or do you have another niche that you guys focus on?
Well, Janet and we're trying to work more on the business than in the business, but her and I both have our own book. So we still have a book of business that we're doing. And so we're trying to transition to that, and it's very difficult. So we both are realtors and we do real estate, but we don't do it as much full time. We're more full time in insurance. So if there are those people that may like friends or family or a certain situation, we will take that listing on, or we'll work with that person on buying. But I myself, my book is municipalities. So I work on schools, counties, libraries, water districts, all of that. That's where my niche is. And Janet is really big with contractors, and she's got several different things that she specializes in with trucking and contractors and oil and gas. So there's a lot of that too. So even our books of business don't collide.
Yeah,
It just
that's kind of
doesn't.
crazy.
Just truly, we stay in our own lane. So it helps.
So, Angela, I'd love to talk about, I know that your agency is growing. I've known you guys for a couple of years, and I also know that you guys have some experience in acquiring other agencies. Walk me through what your process looks like when you guys are acquiring. Obviously, probably one of you takes the lead in that process, or maybe not. I don't know, but I would love to talk about, some lessons learned and some advice that you would give to other agencies that want to grow by acquisition.
Oh, absolutely. Acquisition is fun but scary. Just honestly, you're thinking, oh, okay, it's already established. This is going to be easier than starting from scratch, right? And so Janet is she's a very strong lead on this. So Janet loves calculating the numbers when it comes to the carriers. So we look and see like, hey, do we have mutual carriers? What is the location? What is their demographics? Where do they reach out to? We've been really lucky that we've had two of the acquisitions that we have had have contacted us directly and wanting us to purchase, which was such a compliment. We took that as a huge compliment. But I think we align insurance companies, number one, and philosophies, like how they have done business. Does that reflect on how we do business? And because your customers will typically follow how those people do business. And so that kind of gives you a little bit of a heads up of how those customers are, right? So we look at that, and we have been fortunate that they've aligned. So and also like what they are writing in that area, and is there business to be had in that area. So that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I would tell you that, I obviously do the numbers part and the analysis
Mm-hmm.
part and all of that. But what you said is, do we fit culturally is a hard thing to put your finger on. But if someone's coming to you, they've obviously figured out who you are and your reputation and the way you all conduct yourselves. So they are seeking you out because they want their customers to be handled that way, and they see that fit. It's the hardest part of an acquisition, to be quite honest with, is to really know, are we going to fit? And is the behavior of our staff, of our customers, of our carrier reps, like every part of the people, our referral partners, everyone, are they going to mesh with the thing that we already have? Because if they don't, it can literally change the entire culture of what you're doing and really be taxing on your staff if you're forcing them to do something that's completely outside what they typically do. Right. So I love that you led with that, because a lot of people, I think if you haven't acquired, you don't know how important that is and how horrible it can be if you get that part wrong. Right.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, two of the agencies that we purchased, they took cash. And that was a big challenge for us because we don't take any cash. We don't take any checks. We're direct. We don't do that. And so you're looking at some clients that's the only way that they've done it. And they've come in every month and paid it, or, to having a cash drawer. I mean, we weren't used. So it's just some of the little things that you really have to look at. Like they had a cash drawer. Well, my staff's like, how much do we put in here? Do we need coins? What is this? And they're just like, so, it's just kind of,
how much is a nickel worth again?
I know, exactly. Yeah. So, and it is a different atmosphere. We are in the Midwest. And so you have people coming in, and when they're going to pay their bill, they may be seeing the doctor that day. They may be going to the grocery store that day. You're on their list of things to do, and they're going to have a coffee in your lobby and sit and chit chat. It's the culture. It's huge. It's huge.
If you're like me and many other small businesses across the country where hiring, training, and retaining employees is a challenge, Agency VA has a solution for you. Agency VA has over 1,000 VAs hired, managed, and trained in the Philippines, Latin America, and India. But did you also know they have 100 licensed agents here in the U.S. that can help you manage your book? I use a VA who lives in the Philippines, and I absolutely love her. The process was simple. We had a consultation where they asked me my needs, goals, and concerns, and matched me with Allie, who has been an absolute game changer for me. Employing Allie through Agency VA has allowed me to focus on my business without worrying about HR concerns, turnover, and monitoring payroll. The best part is the Agency VA team was eager to help my company and also make sure that Allie is getting employee benefits, a competitive salary to help her live a better life in the Philippines. If this is something that you are struggling with inside your agency, please visit agencyva.com/insurance refocused and set up a time to talk to them about your hiring needs.
It truly is. So you said it. You're in Kansas and you acquire an agency that accepts cash, but yet I know about your agency that you're very tech forward. So tell me how, and I'd love for you to describe, the technology solutions that you are, because that's your lane. That's the thing that you're driving inside the agency. So it's just kind of funny to me as I'm considering, okay, we have a paper-based, most likely cash accepting agency that sought you guys out, and maybe they knew, maybe they didn't know, but you're pretty tech forward in the middle of Kansas. That's the other part, which is, which people don't think. They think tech forward might be in New York City, or they might be very urban. It's not true. There's actually tech forward agencies everywhere, but just give me an idea of how it, first of all, did staff integrate in those two situations, and what was that like?
Yeah. It was interesting. They're like, first it was the cash drawer. We had to get the cash drawer out. And then, then I get a call. They want a receipt. What do we do with the receipt? And I'm just like, yeah, a receipt. Okay. You type something up and then you sign it. And then they're like, do I notarize it? Do I,
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
so, I mean, no offense to the client, but we were just kind of caught off guard. And I know that's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a reality. So we had to learn really quick. But I had to give them like a notice. So we like put a notice out and said, for 6 months, we're only going to accept payments. And then after that, you'll either have to be direct or, pay online or whatever. But it was a culture change too, because that agency that we had bought out, we bought with the knowing that we would have one of their employees. So she had been with them for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So she was used to in cash. And so we had to train her like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And she's just like, how's that work? And so it's kind of that training for everyone. And so it was a little bit of an adjustment, but we got through it.
I can just envision that this podcast is, from cash to bots. Cause I mean, you guys have bots in your agency. So,
yeah,
how is she adjusting to the fact that there's some automation and things inside your agency, or maybe not her specifically, but in general, let's just talk about the use of technology inside your agency and what that looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the staff makes fun of me because November, they all make fun of me. It's okay. And November, they call it Change-vember. So my birthday's in that month. So they call it Change-vember because here it comes. She's going to change something up. Well, by that time, I've gone to some conferences and I'm like, oh yeah, IPFS or, oh yeah, total CSR or whatever, all these different automations of things that you can do. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, we're going to do this. It'll be awesome. You guys will love it. And they're just like, oh, here she goes again. And one of them was the bots. And so, yeah, I was like, all right, here we go, guys. This is it. We're going to try it again. It wasn't November, but now they call every month Change-vember, but it's okay. At least they say it to my face. But yeah, so we put bots on the system. So we're on Epic and through Applied. And so, yeah, so we worked with them. And then we also worked with another company, Quandary, in Canada. And we went through a lot. It was a lot to learn how our system works versus how our system works with a bot and what we want our system to do with the bot. And I mean, there's a lot of pieces that you have to put together, but it was such a huge awareness once it's done. It's a game changer. So staff loves it.
So tell me, what are some of the things that that you're using a bot for? And for those people that don't know what a bot is, it's robotic automation where repetitious tasks inside the agency are automated. So no human has to do it. It's literally programmed in order to do that. That's good enough, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give us an idea of some of the things that you use bots for and what the impact has been on your staff.
We have used them for, first off, we have a renewals manager section that comes inside of Epic, and it automatically lets you know if the renewal is up or down by either what percentage you bring in or what have you. And then it creates an activity, and then it creates a task within that activity of telling you what you need to do, how you need to do it, and so on and so forth. So what we worked with Quandary on for a very long time to get it exactly how we wanted it is that it goes in, it reads that renewals manager automatically, and it goes in and either creates the activity or task for us. So you don't have staff doing that. You don't have them happen to go to the renewals manager. You have producers that don't have to look and see what their renewals are coming up because it automatically is doing steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's huge. Also, like renaming some of our documents, exactly what we want that document. So that's a lot of time when, sometimes companies just download it and it's, 11723B-11 auto. Well, what is that? So it goes in and renames our documents what we want it to be named. And then our biggest one is the renewals manager. The comparison. And so it's the renewal comparison. And so it looks at last year's data and it pulls a deck sheet that we have in attachments, takes this year's renewal, compares the two, and that it's done. And so that we set up the formula of how we want it to compare. And we're still working on the final of this, but so it's doing the comparison for us. So that's countless hours of staff time doing stuff that isn't selling insurance, isn't helping us get our clients one more step further. It's task within activities with renaming. So it has helped us advance our staff. Not that we had to lay anybody off, but what we did do is that now they could spend more time working with the clients doing insurance stuff, right? So taking that phone call instead of being like, oh, I've got 5 phone calls to return because I'm trying to do all this paperwork, they can pick up every line. They can pick up every call. They can handle it right then. They can be more proactive on upselling, cross-selling, what have you, remarketing. Yeah.
I got to tell you, every time I hear someone describe using virtual assistants, bots, automation, every time I hear it, I think, and we go back to the same report and look at what revenue should we have per employee again? And
Yes.
Honestly, my answer to that is, what kind of agency are you? Because that benchmark is not the same in an agency that's utilizing automation versus an agency that isn't using automation. Right. It just isn't. And, lucky for me, I get to actually see that, which is pretty exciting. And I also get to see, if you do have all of this happening and you have all this technology and you still have the same revenue per employee, why? Like, what is happening? So it's just such a cool, I think it's a cool time to be in insurance, because the things people were talking about, there are agencies doing it, and we're able to actually see it really widen the gap between agencies that are and agencies that aren't. And, it's not surprising that there's people coming to you and saying, hey, we'd love for you guys to acquire us. I mean, that's not really that shocking, is it? When you think about it that way, right?
Well, it's flattering. It's very flattering.
Well, I mean, and it's the truth. I've had more than one agency that's in that situation. So it's exciting. I know that it's a difficult time, and I guess I'm going to probably end with that topic because it's on everyone's mind. How has your technology and your bots helped you in the hard market? Like, has that been a game changer for you? Because if it hasn't, that's okay. Or is that on the roadmap in order to do some things because of the hard market?
Well, again, on the renewals manager, it gives us like that heads up. So those companies that download, we are being very proactive. And at first, staff was very hesitant, but we're contacting our clients ahead of time. Like, hey, Carey, we're just calling you to let you know that, your insurance has gone up. We've looked at it and, it's less than 5%. I will tell you the market is really getting hard. And if we do remarket you, there is a possibility that the company is going to want to come out and pre-inspect your house. They're going to want, some of those different things. And they're like, no, we're good. Thanks. But typically in the past, you're like, oh my gosh, it went up. We need to look at remarketing it, and we're not going to call them and, whatever. And so I think it's given a great awareness for our staff. So when those bots go in there and they do that, comparison automatically. So it's already done. So instead of you see somebody that, their insurance went up significantly, well, it's almost every single one. Right. So to have that comparison already done, to have the notification of, I've already got those tasks. So I'm just going to go straight into my activities or straight into my to-do list today, or, I know exactly where that attachment is because I can search exactly how that attachment's supposed to be addressed. That is just, we may say it's only minutes, but those minutes add up. And so I think with the efficiency, then when we say, okay, before it allowed them to do more insurance stuff, the insurance stuff is trying to keep the account, trying to keep it renewed, trying to look and see what it
Building
is.
relationships. Yeah, of course.
Not one-on-one.
Right. Well, If someone's listening and they want to reach out to you and connect with you, where can they reach you?
Well, they can obviously reach us through email, Angela at TrustPointServices.net or at TrustPoint Services here in Kansas through the phone number 620-364-8811. But yeah, I'm around on LinkedIn, on Facebook, whatever. But yeah, no, I'm all about it. I've had so many people in the industry help me out. And so, yeah, I'm all about sharing it forward and trying to help. And, I just think all of us every day are learning so much. It's so over the top with knowledge anymore, with all the AI and the ChatGPT and all of that stuff. I mean, it's just such a huge awareness and it's hard to keep up. So it's really nice when you can reach out to somebody.
I could not agree more. And I got to tell you, I mean, there are more and more female leaders emerging. I will say that. I've been in this industry for about 15 years and there's female leaders all over the place, but there's more being vocal about it. And I absolutely love that. So I love that you and Janet are available. You're out there doing some cool stuff. And I have learned a great deal from you. I'm sure that there are a lot of other people that feel that same way. So I really appreciate what you do. I appreciate you coming on our show and I look forward to seeing you at a conference near you soon, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Carey, thank you. I mean, when we met, I don't know, many years ago, 5-6 years ago, you were one of those people that I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to do that.
Yeah,
you're one of the reasons I brought back to my staff, and they're like, "Oh, here we go again."
Oh, I'm the change member. That's terrible.
Change member.
Yeah. Change member.
Let me tell you, I'm going to use that change member thing for sure. So anyway, well, it was super fun hanging out with you today, Angela, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, it was great talking to you, and Lindsay, you as well.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Insurance Refocused podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review so you'll never miss us. Want to learn more about how Agency Focus can help you grow your agency? Head to agency-focus.com or email Carey directly at carey@agency-focus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, feel free to shoot me an email at lindsay@agency-focus.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.